Volume warning. Turn it down. I'm warning you. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to my review of Pearl, the prequel film to X, which I reviewed just the other day. And I will say right now, I like Pearl a lot more than X. I still am not nearly as high on it on this most recent rewatch as I was when I first saw it. I first saw it in 2022 and then rewatched it in 2023, and both times I was in love with it. Just watching it the other day, I still liked it very much. I don't want to sound like I'm too negative on it. It's just, compared to how I did feel, I like it significantly less, but I still do like it very much. So let's get into it. So as I said, Pearl is the prequel film to Maxine, where we get to see a bit of a golden age of Hollywood take, which is really impressive because Ty West has taken the exact same setting and location as X and turned it from disgusting old dilapidated Texas farmhouse into basically like a glossy movie, wonderful looking, colourful, animal-filled place. It's insane how he did it with this kind of like Technicolor glow to it. The production design, and I can guarantee you right now that Maxine, one of its biggest strengths is going to be its recreation of 1980s Hollywood, because both of these films, X and Pearl, Ty West has knocked it out of the park with creating the look of these films. And you get to learn more about Pearl, the signature villain. Her husband, Howard, is out in the war, and she dreams of becoming a dancer like all the pretty girls in the pictures. And she's trying her absolute best to break free of farm life with her domineering mother and her sick father. But each attempt to try and get out only knocks her back more, and she eventually becomes the villain that we know from X. I think the casting is very, very impressive, and it was impressive in X as well, how you had both Maxine and Pearl played by Mia Goth, and I think it makes even more sense to make Mia Goth look very similar to Maxine in Pearl as Pearl, because you've got both these same kind of character arcs, at least we can assume, until Maxine comes out. But in 1979, you've got Maxine trying to break into the scene, and we don't know if she succeeds or fails. That's what we're going to find out in Maxine, which I'm interested to see. But in 1918, I believe it is, over 60 years previous, you had Pearl trying to make it as a breakout star. But you already know that she doesn't make it, and that's what makes it really, really interesting to see this casting choice. It's kind of like, it's parallel to each other. Both the characters are so much more similar than they initially seem when they first meet in X. And Mia Goth is terrific as Pearl. I like her so much more as Pearl than I do as Maxine. She goes a little bit overboard sometimes. Like there's the scene when she's crying outside of the church once she doesn't get her audition, or the town hall, or whatever it is. And she kind of breaks the sound barrier. that's why I broke the sound barrier in the intro. And it becomes a little bit more funny than actually horrific, but regardless, she's still excellent in this film. She has a monologue where she just basically lays it all on her sister-in-law, and it is harrowing and just jaw-dropping. It is like, holy fucking shit. This film is far more nuanced than what X was. It has so much more perspective, whereas X was basically just fuck Christianity, pro-porn kind of shit. I'm simplifying it a bit, but at the end of the day, that is what the film was being. This film is very much nuanced, and it's like, yes, okay, we understand this kind of these Christian values. Some of them are outdated, and some of them do ruin your life if they're being imposed on you. But you also learn that through Pearl's mother, that she's also trying to protect Pearl from all the hell and horrors that she went through as a German. And it just gives more perspective on why she's like that, and why she might hold those values, but also how she's incorrectly or maybe over enforcing them on her daughter. It gives so much more perspective. It gives you more to chew on. It's really thought-provoking, and I really like it. And it gives Pearl more to do as well, because she doesn't want to be like her mother, but she's scared of her mother, but she also really cares for her father as well. So, but her mother cares for her father. So she's got a bit of a conflict of interest with her mother, but she also wants to move forward. So you've got a really, really deep cast of characters here, specifically with Pearl's mother and Pearl herself. And I just think that's why this film is so much better than X, because there's actual character work here. You could acknowledge their flaws and their strengths and understand what their intentions are. And it doesn't outright basically go, yeah, fuck Christianity, that's all a bunch of outdated bullshit, which I get a little bit sick of sometimes. The carnage is definitely here. I would actually say that this film is gorier and delivers more carnage, or at least maybe not more, but better carnage than X does. So, for all the Carnage fans like myself, I was not disappointed whatsoever. I also really like the idea of making sure that you live your own life, and that becomes a big point of conflict with Pearl's mother and herself, because Pearl's mother thinks that you can't live your own life, you have to survive, and that's it, that's all that matters. What you want doesn't matter. But Pearl is naive, but also more optimistic that she can live her own life. So it's really, really a kind of a nice... It's turned on its head, like twisted on its head in the third act. But the idea of trying to be who you are and living your own life and not letting people to bring you down, it is sweet. But as you know with this film, it takes it in a complete other direction, which is fun. And we learn how she managed to snip her strings from her family, because I want to live my own life. I've got a sick father. My sick father needs taken care of. I can't live my own life. What to do? Let's just fucking kill him. So it is quite funny. It has a sense of humor about it. It's horrific, but it also works because it's kind of like, taking what the projectionist said really deep to heart. And finally, the final shot of this film is one of my favorite final shots ever. I was watching it when I watched it the other day for the third time. My entire skin was just getting goosebumps and my hairs were standing up. It's really chilling with the music. It's like a really triumphant, soaring song, and it just starts morphing into the piercing violins, and just thinking about it, it's one of my favorite endings. But I also do have one problem, kind of like my one with X. Why did she fuck the Scarecrow? I get it, sexual repression is a thing. How does fucking a scarecrow help? Oh my God. So overall, Pearl is a much, much better film than X. I'm a little bit disappointed that we're obviously going to follow Maxine because we already know what happens with Pearl. So it makes me less excited for Maxine because I find Pearl to be a far more compelling character. And this idea of you know what's going to happen to her makes for it to be all the more tragic, I guess you could say, and depressing because you know where she's going to end up in X. But Pearl is just a terrific film. It's really well acted and it does a great job at capturing the time period of the 1910s, and it has one of my favorite endings of all time. I would say that Pearl is absolutely worth watching and worth buying. So that is my review of Pearl. What did you think of this prequel film? Did you prefer it to X? Did you prefer X to this? Let me know what you thought of it, and I will see you all later. Bye.